Everybody. I hope you're having a fabulous May the 4th be with you day to day in honor of Star Wars. And I am here tonight with a special guest, Matt Hohner. I am Tara Elliott. I am the executive director of Eastern Shore Writers Association, welcoming you to Thursdays with ESWA tonight and a little bit about our host, our guest host tonight. Matt Hohner has won or placed in numerous national and international poetry competitions with publication credits in literary journals in 7 countries on 5 continents. Matt has held 2 residencies at the Virginia Center for the Creative Arts, with one forthcoming at Anam Cara Retreat in Ireland. His publications include Rattle, Poets Respond, Sky Island Journal, Techihe, The Storms Journal, New Contrast, Live Canon, The Cardiff Review, and Prairie Schooner. An editor with the Lochraven Review, his first collection, Thresholds and Other Poems from Apprentice House, was published in 2018. Ladies and gentlemen, give a huge Eastern Shore Writers Association welcome to Matt Hohner.
Thank you, Tara. Thank you very much. I'm going to go to screen share and love the intro music, by the way. And I got a message that we may have someone trying to get in, Tara. So I don't know if you've got everybody let in the waiting room or not, but okay. I'm going to get us started. I don't want to waste any more of your precious time. And Tara, just let me know, can you see this in full screen?
Not right now. Hit the green button with the black arrow.
Yes, thank you. There we go.
Nope. There we go. Okay, yep, it came up. Perfect.
Okay. So, just a brief intro to my inspiration for this workshop. It actually came from a job that I was doing after I left teaching, in which I inspected houses in various stages of foreclosure. This involved using an iPhone to document the condition of the houses, and I realized that in some of these vacant houses, there were some interesting stories being told by what was left behind and what wasn't, and the conditions of the house. So I decided that I would capture those images off of app that I was using, and it turned into a full-length book of poems using these photos. So what I'd like to do to kind of get us started is a bit of a warm-up. We will get to the photos, but what right now I want you to do is find a window near you in the room, and I believe Tara will have this as a doc in the chat as well, in case you want to have this at the ready, so you can refer to it, but I'll leave the screen up. Find a window near you in the room where you are located. Open the window if you want to record more sensory details. Look out the window without moving from your position. What do you see through the window? What do you hear? Is the window open? Can you smell or taste anything in the air coming through the window? How does the air feel on your skin? What is something you've experienced through this window once and never again? What can't you see outside the frame of the window, but know is there? And if you want to bend the rules a little bit, write in the past tense. What have you seen or experienced through this window in the past? I'll give you somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes. So once you've found that window, what you see through the frame, go. Thank you, Tara. So, does anyone have something that they're actually a little bit surprised by and would like to share?
And you're welcome to share by raising your hand or waving at me, and I'll try and see you. Or if you just like to put it in the chat window, either one would work. I have a private message here. Somebody was surprised that they realized the wings of a bird outside their window that they had never noticed before.
Oh, I have a, is it Nupur Mascara? Forgive.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Uh, I was just surprised by the number of details I noticed when I kind of tried to answer your specific questions. And so that added many layers to my noticing. And I think it will, result in better poetry. So thank you for that. I noticed it's morning here in India. So I noticed trees, and then there's a song going on at the temple. So the aarti, then a car engine, birds chirping, cool, fresh morning air. Then my mother's childhood home is around the corner. And I thought yesterday morning is something which I will not experience again. I mean, I've come here for a holiday and I'm going back today. So thank you for this exercise.
Well, that's wonderful. That's terrific. And the fact that you're sharing the details from India tomorrow means that you're coming to us from the future. So so far things look pretty good in the future. Speaking of Star Wars Day and May the 4th, I see some great comments. Let's see. C. Malley, memory of a friend parked in front of my house, a friend I don't have anymore. That is something worth exploring more. You've already got something you can use after this workshop. Hey, Dan Cuddy has his hand up.
Okay, all right, late evening blue sky, pale sun still up in the west. Poplar trees in full leaf now. A hole where the giant tree was, toppled by wind, uprooted. Leaned on another poplar behind it. Large hole, mounds of earth held then by roots. I have a hard time reading my writing. A mound rose like the roof of a mouth. How the whole yawned, said beware. Trees can fall in any direction, just need a bit of wind. Russet maple tree, now visible behind, has also, okay, let's see, wait a minute. That's how far I got. Okay, sorry about that.
Well, thank you, Dan. The thing that strikes me immediately, and this is something that we're going to get into maybe with some folks at least. The things that when we look into a picture or into a frame, like the window I'm looking out right now, just over my laptop, the things that were not there anymore, or that aren't there anymore, that were. Experience comes into this a lot. And I'm seeing, just to kind of touch on a few things, and then we can move on to sort of the next stage, if that's all right, Tara. And if I'm going too fast, let me know. Attractive Fahi, who I have no idea how she's awake because she just flew in from LA, I think yesterday, gave us terrific details about the birds in Galway, where she lives. I'm seeing some, oh gosh, such great comments. Visiting Carolina, seeing visiting Carolina wrens, cicadas. This is Robin, is it Wind Phallus?
That's fine. That's pretty good.
Okay.
Yes.
Forgive me. By the way, if
It's okay.
if I destroy
I know
anyone's
it's
name,
very hard to know
yeah,
names.
I do my very best to read people's names correctly. So if I don't get it right, correct me. I won't take offense, and I hope you won't either. Did you want to read what you wrote, and we'll leave you as the last person to,
Yeah. Oh, did you want me to, it's just like notes. I mean, this is through a dining room window. And it's, okay, so I say I smell the fresh air, moist air. I see green trees, potted. Well, what did I say? It's cool temperature as sunset approaches. Seeing green trees, potted plants, lavender and sage that I grow. See other hanging potholders waiting for other plants as the day warms to safe growing temperatures. And I put this in the chat. I remember seeing Carolina wrens, cicadas. I mean, we have many visitors, so those are the ones that
these are thank you so much. These are terrific detail. The things that I'm hearing, especially the mention of the herbs, especially lavender.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
When you say these words, and as we go through this, folks, think of the concrete, vivid, specific details that evoke such sensory understanding with the reader. Lavender has both a visual
Right.
context with the purple flowers and the silver leaves, but also the
Yes.
scent. You can also use it in cooking, so there's a flavor.
Oh, yeah, I didn't add a surprise. The sage is actually trying to put out flowers right now.
Very good.
So that's nice. I mean, our weather is kind of weird because it got warmer and it's a little cooler. The days are getting into the time when everything will grow, but the flowers usually don't come at this time, but it's a gift to see all of this. Thank
Very
you.
good. Very good. Well, thank you. Okay. We're going to move forward. Gosh, if we had 15 hours, I'd listen to like all of these great details. But this is being recorded, so we can come back and refer to these again. All right, next. Let's see here. So, the collective memory, and let me find my printout, because on my screen I've got a lot covering up my my writing, so I'm going to read from my instructions. You can see this yourself. What I will do is move forward to the next image, and you will be able to use the document that Tara can share in chat if you want to have the image in front of you while you do the work. Okay, this will be a strict 5 minutes as soon as I'm finished reading. And we'll do maybe 2 shares on this, and then we'll move forward. Next step, the collective memory. So what I want you to do in the following photo, and in fact, I'll move forward since I have the instructions right here. This may be familiar to you, this image, and you should see the credit at the bottom in case you're not sure what you're looking at. You should know now. Go into the photo, look around, close your eyes in the scene, and use your other senses. And I'll provide a little bit of a description in case anyone's having a hard time seeing this image. What do you see or not see? What do you hear or not hear? What does it smell like? What can you taste in the mouth? Like smell, a little different. What do you feel on your skin, with your hands, etc.? And then think about these questions. And there are more than I could ask here, but these are some I chose. What do you still remember from the event? What have you forgotten? What comes back to you as you view this photo? What does it make you think of now? And for those of you who need a refresher, this is a photo of what they call the pile at Ground Zero at the former World Trade Center Twin Towers site. This photo was taken September 13th, 2001, 2 days after the terrorist attack. Okay, starting timer. 5 minutes. Okay. So wrap up what you are writing on this line or sentence or phrase. I already see Robin has something that she posted. Robin, are you possibly interested in reading this out loud to us?
I have it somewhere. I'm gonna have to look at the chat. This is something that I wrote. I was at actually a poetry meeting. It's not poetry, it's almost like an essay. The prompt that we were given is to write about, don't say what it is, and just write about it. So that's what this is all about. If I can find it here, it's not very long. Here, oh gosh, it's hard to do it. Let's see. I think it begins with this. My decision to stay home was to enjoy our young son Sam's every moment. Leisurely, let's see, leisurely. I'm not good at this. I have to open it up and it's hard. Yeah, leisurely visits, playtime, visits to grandma. Grandpa was very ill and he was living in a nursing home. Grandma was having health problems and doctor's visits became more frequent. I was the driver and Sam came with us on appointments. My husband wanted Sam to experience fun with friends and not just his mommy. So we enrolled him in a preschool. So the thing is, when this thing happened, the day before, I was with my mother at a radiology suite for maybe a fracture in her back because she had osteoporosis. So as I sat there, it suddenly occurred to me how my life would change because I'd have to take care of my mother. Then I thought that was not, that was a hard day for me. The next day I take our son to the preschool. Coming home, I hear about this on the radio. I come home, I turn on the TV. I'm not a big TV watcher and I see what's happening. It's like, oh my gosh. I mean, I just wrote here, I could smell, which I didn't write in this essay. I could see the fire and ash, smell and taste it, though I was not there. I had fear, concern about would we be next? We lived in Jacksonville, Florida. There were military outposts. I mean, who knew what would happen next? And I say here that the next morning I heard about something strange happening as I drove home from errands. At home, I turned on the television. I just said that and to see and hear the news. My thoughts were singularly about what might happen next. Is the preschool safe now? Let's see if I can scroll down. It's not scrolling. Yeah, okay. I searched my memory. Yes, I called my sister-in-law to ask if her husband was okay because he worked they lived in New Jersey and he worked not in Manhattan, but in Brooklyn, not too far from, we didn't know what was happening. So everything was fine, thank goodness. I searched my memory to think who might I know that was in danger because I used to live in New York, but it was a long time ago. So I really didn't have those connections. So much changed in our country, the world. I was thankful that our family and friends were all safe. We continued our routines as we we continued our we went on as we did, and we never subscribed to the bad feelings that other people had about the other. And what do I say? The frightful day, now trust became a national issue and continues to be prevalent than before. It's never gone away, this idea of not trusting others. So I mean, I didn't read it all, but that was my whole idea.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Chris George, let's hear what you've got.
Okay, well, just something from the photograph, 9/11 reflection. Pungent smell of death. The air's full of dust and pain. The world is in pieces. Will we ever fit it together again? That's it.
Nice. Very good. Thank you, Chris. Let's see. Kay White, your hand is up.
Yeah, I just have sort of a little bit about the picture and then a few random memories. I didn't write a poem or anything, but the smoke, the collapsed buildings, you can smell the smoke, and it's a ugly plastic smell, and tasting the ash and probably plastic, you can taste it too, and feeling the chemical greasy dust on your skin. I guess what you would hear from that would be the people that are there talking, and the noise, the sound that all the rubble makes as they sift through it. I remembered at that time, my daughter had just started college, and her boyfriend had too. He was at NYU. He had the presence of mind to email his parents and tell him he was okay as soon as all this happened, before communications became difficult. I heard about it from my sister when she called me up and said, "Turn your TV on." What I remember, what really strikes me, besides the fact that it was my husband's 53rd birthday, by the way, what really struck me was how beautiful the day was here in Maryland. You know, how it was one of those fantastic September days, and how the skies were so quiet for weeks afterward. We get a lot of flight over our house and things, and there was nothing for weeks, and those were basically my memories about it. So
Very good. Thank you, Kay, excuse me. Okay, we have one more person. Now, before you read, what I want to hear is exactly what you wrote. What did you get down in that brief amount of time? What came back to you? We will be able to revisit these. So let's stay focused on the writing itself. Ready? Okay. Go ahead, Patty. I think. There we go.
Patty, unmute
I
yourself.
lived in Virginia at the time, so most vividly, I remember the plane crashing into the Pentagon, the calls to and from Flight 93, and then them downing the plane in Pennsylvania. I remember watching people jumping to their deaths out the windows, the actual collapse of the towers, everybody being covered in ash, the first responders being crushed as the towers fell, and all our planes being grounded.
Nice. Nice. There's so many details that come from everyone's experience, and that's why it's collective. Okay. What I'd like to do next is move forward into a few examples. I wanted us to do our own first. Now we're going to explore a few examples of other folks' responses to the sort of collective moments that many people, I won't say all, but many people have had. And so let me go to our next slide. And this is, I just picked a random photo. This one happens to be a lovely home on Tatooine. Whoops, there, a little bit of laser there. Sorry, I couldn't help it. I couldn't help it. It's May the 4th. That's all. Okay. So this first poem, can I get someone we haven't heard from before to read this poem? Otherwise, I'll be happy, or Tara can read it. But I'd rather have someone who is not me or Tara reading.
I'd love to hear Brooks read it. Brooks, are you up for that? Unmute, Brooks. There you
I
go.
didn't know if you had to do it or if I could do it. I've just been sitting here munching on ice, so my mouth's a little bit numb, but yeah, I'll do it.
Thank you.
Unrest in Baton Rouge after the photo by Jonathan Bachman. Our bodies run with ink, dark blood. Blood pools in the pavement seams. Is it strange to say love is a language few practice, but all or near all speak? Even the men in black armor, the ones jangling handcuffs and keys, what else are they buffered? What else are they so buffered against, if not love's blade sizing up the heart's familiar meat? We watch and grieve. We sleep, stir, eat. Love. The heart sliced open, gutted clean. Love. Naked almost in the everlasting street, skirt lifted by a different kind of breeze.
Wonderful. Thank you, Brooks. Now that's this is by Tracy K. Smith. And let me show you the image. I wanted to put the poem first. This is an iconic image of how still she stood as she approached the line of police during a protest over violence and violence against African Americans in Baton Rouge. And this photo ended up becoming extremely famous. I believe it won some awards too. Photos by Jonathan Bachman. If you when you think about the details of the breeze lifting the skirt, I don't know if you can see my cursor, but this is she's obviously referring to more than just a breeze. So much more happening in the photo, and where the poet chose to take it is how I want you to think about when you're writing about your own photos in a little bit. Okay, let's go on. I'd love to get another volunteer to read the next poem. The next exemplar is one that probably more people have seen. This one, I'll give you a preview. I'll go to the photo first, and we'll come back to the poem on this one. This one should be fairly familiar to folks, and just give it a brief look because most of us have probably seen it before. It's an image of one of the students slain during the Kent State massacre when they were protesting the Vietnam War. Okay, back to the poem. Any volunteers?
I noticed Michael Broccoli was going to volunteer, I think, last, and he's such a fabulous reader. Michael, would you read this for us?
Legacy?
Yeah, I'd love you to read it. Would you read it for us?
Legacy. You know the photo, the one of the young woman with a scarf and dark hair, crouching over what used to be a student, screaming, "Why?" Hands plunging into the low atmosphere, as if she can grab her God's shoulders and shake him for letting this happen. But you don't know the man in plaid over her left shoulder. You don't know his class had been dismissed early to participate in democracy. He is too far away and indistinct for you to see the thick glasses, the mustache he still wears 50 years later. You don't know that a decade after the National Guard almost shot him too, he would become my father. Daffodils remain silent, but not complicit. They're still suffering shock. Flowers planted in gun barrels, tear gas tossed back in uniforms. Shoots of yellow flowers from my baptism, poked through early May soil.
Wow. Okay, so now that Brooks has made everyone cry with his perfect reading.
That was amazing, Brooks. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brooks. Wow. Okay. So we get kind of we get the gist of where we're going. Now I want to get to our next exercise. I'm keeping an eye on the time. I have 8:14 and we have to be out of here by 9 p.m. Tara. Okay. This will give us, I think we're on a good pace here. Let's do this. Now that you've seen how other folks have written about these collective iconic moments, take maybe 1 or 2 minutes, go back to what you just wrote about the 9/11 photo, and I'll scroll back and show it. Add more. Add something maybe you hadn't thought of before. Maybe add a personal note about where you were, what happened, someone you know. About 2 minutes. Okay. So, does anyone have one luminous detail they added? And I'd like to get a new person provide just that detail, something that came to mind.
And again, feel free to type that into the chat or raise your hand and share out loud.
I'll bring this in. Connie Taylor writes, it's not me, my son, the United pilot said, I'm safe. He meant before I feared for him. Go watch TV to see our world has changed. Yeah, those are the details. That's what makes this, makes the poems so powerful. Woman kicked off their pumps to run across the bridge to Brooklyn. That's Michelle Sims Burton. Good one. Mel Eden, a silent tear runs down my American friend's cheek. Wonderful. Way
And George had his hand up, Matt.
Oh, go George.
I learned his son died on the Pennsylvania plane. He always called me lucky. I wish he had been the lucky one that day. He died shortly after his son.
Wow. Yes, thank you. Okay, one more person. Catherine has her hand up.
The freeways were still uncrowded, no planes flying over at right angles, but come into work anyway. No excuses.
Wow. 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 My gosh. Okay. So, all right. So that, okay.
And there are a lot more comments in the chat. I know we can't get to all of them, but there are some fabulous ones there if you guys want to scroll up and read.
Oh, these are wonderful. Gosh. Oh, and a Tractafahi from Galway. So the Irish perspective. Wow. Yeah. Wonderful. Wonderful.
And I made a crazy connection, which I thought was really cool, Mac, by going
Go,
back
Tara.
into this. Well,
Yes.
my dad died in 1994, so 7 years before this happened. And I remember when he was dying because he had cancer, he went to the priest to make sure that he could be cremated. And the connection like came to me in this because there was no going to a priest to ask if you could be cremated. You certainly were at this point.
That's, yes, that's true. Okay. I'm going to scroll forward, so forgive the laser zaps for just a moment here. We're going to get to our main exercise. Okay, so here's where we get to plumb the depths of our own experiences a little bit and our iPhones or smartphones. If you happen to have a family album right there, use that. Otherwise, use your phone. Don't take much time finding a photo. Maybe scrolling through randomly might even be a better way of doing it and faster. So we should we should read, I got ahead of myself a little bit. Let's read a couple examples of personal photo poems. Can I get a volunteer for this one?
I see Catherine, Catherine's hand up. Catherine, would you like to
Oh,
read?
Catherine, yes, sorry.
Sorry, I forgot to take it down, but yes, I'll read.
That'd be
Oh, thank you.
great.
Azaleas appear in all the early photos. My arms belted around my mother, only the top of my head seen because she has spoken sharply and now resorts to begging. Your father hasn't seen you in 8 weeks. Smile, smile. I am too sad or sick to obey, and she makes that sound between her teeth that signals the end of a unit of patience. I release her and dash off. What follows, I don't remember. Only after, dawdling along the hedge, touching the little flaring flowers. There are so many that as I run my hand along, I meet more, nothing else. The top of my head is hot from sun. I understand I am 2 girls, the one my mother wants and the one who lives only among her own kind.
Thank you so much, Catherine. I chose this one for that ending. Those last really 3.5 lines. Obviously, I don't expect anyone to hit such a note of perfection on these first drafts, but hopefully you can kind of see sort of like the map for where you can go with these. We'll go to the next example. And if Tara, if you don't mind, I'd like to read this one.
Go for it, Matt.
So this is by Habeba Badaroun. And it's one that prior to putting this lesson together, I had seen and just loved for the sharpness of it. Old photographs. On my desk is a photograph of you, taken by the woman who loved you then. In some photos, her shadow falls in the foreground. In this one, her body is not that far from yours. Did you hold your head that way because she loved it? She is not invisible, not my enemy, nor even the past. I think I love the things she loved. Of all your old photographs, I wanted this one for its becoming. I think you were starting to turn your head a little, your eyes looking slightly to the side. Was this the beginning of leaving? So another thing I haven't mentioned, but ask questions in your poem. Better yet, questions you can't answer by looking at the photo. Perhaps something that has never been answered and a question that has always been left asked. So next, one more. Lens by Patricia Hooper. Tara, would you mind reading this one?
Sure. Lens. How different things must have looked to my mother than they did to me. There I am in the black and white photo, the summer the baby died. I'm 7, trying out my pogo stick with the 2 new girls next door. We're laughing, and I'm shouting something to my brother who wants his turn. And there's Dad standing near the station wagon, staring at the grass. She must have stood far back under the pear tree, focusing, trying to fit us in.
So the one detail of a photo poem can create terrific or horrific devastation, the power of poetry. So next, here's the exercise. We're going to take about maybe 10, maybe 15 minutes. I have about 8:25, Tara. So does that feel like we've got enough time to hear a few poems afterwards if we go about between 10 and 15 minutes?
Yeah, I think we can go actually until about 8:40 and then come back to share.
Oh,
So
perfect.
well, I know you're gonna leave this up, Matt, what people write?
I will leave this up.
Okay.
Do you need me to read the instructions while you look at the photos? I don't mind reading these aloud.
Why don't we read them aloud just to see if anybody has any questions, and then we'll cut loose, and
Perfect.
even if we go till 8:45, that's fine.
Perfect. So, using your smartphone, scroll back at least 1 month. You can go further or less far if you know a photo that you really like to write on, and choose a photo to write your next poem. Already, I'm breaking my own rule. Rule bend, use a family photo album if you have one nearby. Choose a photo you've wanted to write about, or be completely random in your selection. In addition to the questions we've used to generate new poems so far, think about these. Who is in the photo? Who isn't? Is anyone in the photo who is no longer alive? Think about how old you are in the photo. If it's from a long time ago, what would you say to yourself now? What do you know now that changes how you see yourself or others in it when this photo was taken? How has the location changed since the photo was taken? How are you changed or affected by visiting this location? Remember to include as many of the 5 senses as possible. Bonus points for using non-visual senses. Double, triple bonus points if you use no visual sensory details and rely on the other 4 or 5, depending on whether you're psychic. And don't forget to use those concrete, vivid, specific details. Don't forget to go into the photo a little bit and report back from that moment and place, but add the wisdom and insight that you've gained since the photo was taken. That's the big so what that elevates this from mere description to something more. And sometimes it only takes 1 detail to do it. Okay, 15 minutes, go. Okay, so let's finish what we're writing, or at least end the writing for now. And you can always come back to it after the end of our workshop. So I see Karen already has a hand up. I'm assuming this is for sharing. Is this true?
Yes, please.
Okay, great. For everyone sharing, so we can get as many people who want to share in before 9 p.m. Stick to what you've written. Try to avoid any kind of intro or ad libs, and let's see where we are. This is a no judgment zone. These are all first drafts anyway. Okay, ready, Karen? Go ahead.
Yeah. This is a high bun from a photo I've taken on the beach with a pebble that looks like a face. Okay. Stone faced, how can I read you? I ask you how you're doing, why it's been so long, but you just look out to sea and ignore me. Long gone, the closeness we once knew. I heard that you'd had a hard time, that you'd lost a close friend in a house fire. Does it still play on your mind? The questions I dare not ask. Can you? We know each other. We've known each other since we were kids. You used to be an open book, but fear can change your person. Can we start over? Building bridges. I start one small stone at a time.
Wow, that was. Thank you so much. That surprised me. The high bone form is really lends well to this type of exercise. I had not even thought of that, but we're not just writing captions to these photos, but the high bone really works with the prose and the brief haiku poem. Wonderful, Karen. This is terrific. I saw Kate. I also see Kay and iPhone. Let's go with, let's see. So Kay, let's see. have we heard from Kay before? I'm not trying to diss Kay, but I'd like to get other people to participate.
No, Kay hasn't shared yet. She
Oh.
she had posted a couple things in the chat, but
Okay,
hey, I'd love to hear you.
let's hear from Kay.
Okay,
Oh, come on.
graduation photo. Black gown and cap, stole around my neck with its ends down my back, tipped with green velvet, symbol of medicine. I bite my lower lip, trying to suppress my joy, which makes me look like a kid. My dark hair brushes my cheeks, newly shortened from waist length. My eyes are half closed as if not quite believing I've done it. Behind me, rows and rows of empty seats, like the well of loneliness that was the previous 4 years. Viewing this picture, I can hear the silence, feel the cool air on my skin, suspended in a kind of netherworld between all that studying and what it was all for, the next 3 decades of my life.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Terrific details. So we have, sir, your name is iPhone. Do you have a first name you can give us?
It's Peter.
Ah, perfect. Okay, Peter, let's hear yours.
Okay, this is called Family Photo. An amazing family photo, maybe the last one ever taken of all of us together. Even my mother is in it. So it must have been taken at least 25 years ago. My mother stands next to Irving, who she met and lived with after my father died. He really doesn't belong in our family photo, but he and my mother look so happy together. Then there are my 3 younger brothers, all of us 2 years apart. We are with our wives, my second, and all of our kids. Amazingly, we each have 2 kids, and we have 4 boys and 4 girls, although we don't each have a boy and a girl. Everyone looks so happy, and amazingly, as far as I know, we are all still happy.
Good stuff. Love the details of who you're describing. Bringing in all of these folks. Sometimes folks will name the folks and not even bother to say brother Jimmy or my sisters Kate and Sally and Brenda. It's when they do that, then it becomes a little bit more personal and almost informal, just naming the folks in the photos, and then it kind of leaves the reader to guess who these folks are. Hopefully in the photo, hopefully in the poem, descriptions come out where you learn who we're hearing about and who the poem's really about. We have other folks. Attracta. Oh, I also saw, hold on one sec, Brooks. I did promise to call him Brooks Truitt. Where are you? Kara, if you could unmute Brooks, and then we'll go to Attracta.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I chose a photo from with my grandfather and me in his kitchen. In the photo is my grandfather and me, but it left me wondering who actually took the picture. So probably my aunt was somewhere in the room too, which is odd that she's not in the picture because she was his caretaker. So her kind of presence is still there in the picture. He's no longer alive. And it occurred to me that my grandmother isn't in the picture either, but she had been dead for so long at that point. It kind of, I wasn't even aware that she was absent. So there's kind of that spirit hovering there too. So I was 20 years old. I go back and tell myself that I'm glad I spent the afternoon sitting with him. But I also say that in some ways, I don't understand life any more now than I did then. He was on the way out and I was just starting my life. Location hasn't changed much inside. It's right across, the house is right across the road from me, even though it seems like it's in a different universe from you know, than what's in the picture, because so much has happened in the last 30 years since that picture was taken. And then as far as details, the wood paneling in the kitchen creates a timeless frozen vibe. It's like, you know, one of those things from those nostalgic pictures. But it was also a place to preserve the past or our family history. And we were farmers, so every summer, you know, that space was used for preserving jellies and beans and whatnot. So it kind of struck me there's that link between preserving the family history and, you know, the kind of activities that actually went on in there in the prime of his life. So that's what I've got.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. All right, we have 3 more people waiting. Kate, Attracta, and Michelle, and Kate has had her hand up for quite a while. We'll go Kate, Attracta, and Michelle. Folks, we have 8 minutes. Let's stick to the poems, only what you've written, and let's see what we've gotten done so far. Okay, go ahead, Kate.
Thanks. In blue, green, red, yellow, stripy socks with a little finger for each toe, you hold your foot to the camera as you lean into the kitchen counter against a slippery tiled floor. It was Christmas, I think. Tongue out, goofy dance, glass dessert plates in the background, and a green corded phone next to the fancy ice dispensing fridge. I hope you're still goofing out in San Francisco, where I've never been. Once we knew each other's thoughts without speaking. Now we speak in like clicks, less communicated than in silence.
Wonderful. Love the details. Just all of them, and more than just visual. And the ending elevates it to another level. Terrific. Okay. Attracta Fahy, all the way from Galway, Ireland, which is now in tomorrow already. All Attracta from the future.
Thank you, Matt. Just to say before I start, I've left my video off because I'm in my pajamas and I look wrecked. And the other thing is, it's something I've written. It's very upside down, but I thought I'd share it. Just to say, when I say Knock Crow, that's the name of a hill. Just it's in Gaelic. Okay. So it's from a photograph, a family photograph. We stood out front of our house, long fields between us and Knock Crow in the background. Our ears pierced from the cry of lambs he'd fed just days before, calling for their mother. A mist in the air building to a cloudburst of rain. I rebelled against the idea, my younger brother insisting we might never be together again. We were miserable. Numbed bodies battled with grief. Grief does not look good when viewed from the camera. Unable to drum up affection, somehow we knew the odds, that we would not be together again for some time. The photo itself became a sadness. What was he thinking, hiring a photographer the day after our father's death? He was gone, and that was it. Some siblings not speaking to each other. We gathered around our aunt, stood against the wind. Lambs continued to mourn as we grimaced. Next day, we all went back to our lives. My eldest brother left, returned to his estrangement from our family. It's been 15 years.
Wow. Wonderful. Gosh.
So powerful. So powerful.
I don't even know where to begin on the details of that. I have to go straight to the lambs and the ears being pierced. Such a turn of phrase. I'm thinking, oh, okay, she's standing there right after her ears were pierced. Oh, nope, we're going in a whole different direction. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, it's 8:56, plenty of time. We've got Michelle, who has had her hand up and been very patient. And I think, Michelle, you might be our last reader tonight.
Okay, thank you. You hold a plank on a Chinese rug in front of the bookshelves of your wife, my mother. 20 years have passed since she died, yet her books still smell with the ink from the annotations that decorate their margins. As soon as you drop down into your plank, I count because I know you are counting. You will count slowly to 60 or more, but I will not hear you, nor will I hear your inhales and exhales. Like so much of your life, your exertions appear effortless, raising 4 children, keeping a wife, ascending in your career. The chicken roasts and fills your home with the aroma of lemon and thyme. I snapped this photo of you with my iPhone because if you ever become immobile or weak, I will send you this photo to remind you that 6 months shy of your 91st birthday, you held a plank in perfect form for 1 minute.
Terrific. Wow.
Thank you.
Such good. My comment was immediately the olfactory sensory details, the aroma. Those are the things that can really trigger some great memories and poems around those memories. So I have about 8:58, Tara. It's up to you if someone has a very short one, we could have one more person participate, or we could wrap. It's really up to you. Oh,
we have 2. I think we have enough time to just do 2 really quick. So I have Catherine, and then I had Meg. Meg, you put your hand down. Did you not want to read? Oh, there it is. It's back up again. Okay, Catherine, go ahead and go first, then we'll hear Meg.
Okay, the air is a pillow I barely breathe through. My skin can only absorb so much of its water. Aunt Lillian has opened her house to us who haven't seen each other in years. Her old dock is long, reaches from her backyard to the river. The reeds are dense, sharp as my mother's ashes waiting for burial. An empty dock leading to a river. I stand behind the lens of my Canon point and shoot.
It was lovely.
that's great. Terrific. Okay, this last person is
And Mel. I'm sorry. Is it Mel? I'm sorry. I was calling you Meg because I know Meg Eden and I just saw the name. So go ahead, Mel.
That's my photo. Half a life ago in my student room with its floor so damp it saturated socks, while the cool Swansea air swept through every crack. You beam at my brother, a look of love so innocent and true, so passionate, so positive, so pure, just 19. Did you know what was coming? How could you? And if you did, would it have changed anything? A few months down the line, you would say, I do. 1, 2 children born to the Welsh shores, 3, 4 in Woking town, then a move to Poole, where the diagnosis finally came. Brecon, named for the mountains you both loved, complex needs, complex path, failed by friends, failed by church, failed by the world. The shine in those eyes starts to fade, but you fight on.
What a great poem to end on. Thank you so much, Mel, for sharing that with us. Gorgeous, gorgeous writing. And I have to give a huge, huge shout out to our fabulous, fabulous guest star tonight. So Charm City poet himself, ladies and gentlemen, give it up because you just did a fabulous session for us. We really, really appreciate you, Matt. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for coming out. And just a little bit about upcoming events. So you guys know, I'm going to put them in the chat window for you. We have a whole slew of just amazing events coming up for you. We have this Sunday from 1 to 3, 1 to 2:30, 1 to 3, depending on when it kind of goes off the deep end. We're going to be taking a look at the Badass Brontes. So if you want to see Jane Satterfield's new book, she's sending out about 10 poems from her brand new book. It's absolutely stunning. You guys will really dig Jane. She spoke for us here in Salisbury Poetry Week, was our poet in residence back in 2019, and she is absolutely remarkable. So come join us for that. That's free and open to the general public. And we have Terry Ellen Cross Davis's husband, Hayes Davis, joining us for Beautiful Objects and Unbridled Joy, which is coming up on Thursdays with ESWA. And later in the month in May, we also have Writing Micros with Urgency and Immediacy with Tommy Dean, who was our editor for the Beta Ocean Journal this year and is absolutely a phenomenal workshop leader. That's a special Saturday session. You won't want to miss it. You'll be writing so many micros and so many prose poems. You will just be completely ripped out of your body and have such an amazing time with Tommy Dean. So come on out with us and join us. And again, a huge round of applause for Matt Hohner and this special session on writing poems from photos, because it was remarkable. Thank you for helping us bend time, Matt. That was great.